how wide that head is. It makes cutting these big logs down so much easier though. Do any of you guys out there running a 4500, have you ever installed any other wheels besides Wood-Mizer wheels? Apparently there's a company that makes them that the inertia is a heavier band, and I'm really curious into buying a pair for this. I think they're about $11,000. Just letting it cut it down. top of that's all garbage anyway. Got that one whooped. I really like the look in that ash when it gets that blue hue to it. A lot of times it's because that Ambrosian beetle gets in it. Good morning, everyone. I've been working on little things on this 4500. Still got some things to work out, but we're getting better and better with it, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like a lot of things about it. I was going to go over some of the things I really liked versus like the Super 70, and there's things that you got to get used to. But for this machine, it really is a, I guess you would say a positive change from a Super 70. And really, I would say the major thing would be, just the industrial side of it, having bigger rollers. One of the things that I've noticed is how true the lumber stays no matter what. I mean, the machine just cuts flat, true lumber flawlessly. And some of the reasons for that, if you're coming from like a Super 70 or, anything that has rubber band wheels, is because the structure in the band. On this, for instance, when you're cutting with it, you've got steel wheels that are wider, they're bigger, and the blade cannot flex near as much as it can when you've got rubber bands on the wheels. And as you can see here, this is a dry ash log, and I mean, it just cuts through it just so smooth and effortlessly. I mean, like I said, I'm letting the machine do the work, but you can kind of see here, it just cuts through that just so slick and so smooth. And those big wheels, you can put, I'm running 90 pounds of pressure right now. But you can put 90 pounds of pressure on the Super 70 or, even 95 on there. But the wheels flex in and out a lot more. Another reason is because this has dual bearings in each side of the wheel. It's got big old like trailer axle bearings on the front and the back, so you're getting a lot more rigidity all across the board. So when you're cutting on this thing, not only does the mill not move, but the head's not wobbling, you're also just everything from the band to the guide wheels to you know, the head, the frame, everything is just a lot smoother and better for cutting. So what I noticed is in really big logs that you hit knots and things like that in, the mill just cuts super flat. I mean, it really just cuts crazy flat. And like I said, I'll zoom in even more so you guys can see. But it just cuts excellent. Like, I just love how great the lumber turns out. All the packs, and I mean, the Super 70 cut phenomenal. But this thing is just on another level. And another reason is because you have an electric motor. And like this electric motor here, it's rated at 30 horse. But at times, it'll go up to, I mean, I've seen it hit over 65 horse. So, I mean, it just, like I said, your cut and everything just, I mean, like I said, it just makes really good looking lumber. And I've already had people comment that we sell to that, you know, is like, you know, they can see a vast difference in the lumber coming off this 4500 overall. And like I said, we had, you know, Super 70 dialed in. It cut really good. You guys seen that for years. But it just, the 4500, like I said, just it's a different animal when it comes to cutting. One of the things that has really been a pain on the 4500 is those arms that hang down that bring the lumber back, and the front arm. A lot of times it's a lot heavier than what comes on, you know, the Super 70, and it will catch little stuff. Like if you shim a top of a log and you are gonna come down it again, a lot of times it'll grab the stuff on top and bring it with it. So it's super annoying when it does that. But other than that, it's really, really a positive machine. I mean, one of the things that the guys really enjoy is they're not, you know, messing with diesel fuel or anything like that we talked about prior. So it makes it a lot easier on your guys. And the overall running up, see, like this right here, it will bring that little stuff with it almost every time and throw it off the end if it doesn't have enough weight to hold itself down. And that is annoying. I don't know how you would change that, because really it happens, I bet you it happens 50 times a day. So, because we shim our stuff extremely close to get the most yield out of the log. But, like I said, you know, other than that, the machine has been super positive. I was worried about little logs and stuff on this versus Super 70, but overall, it has, I mean, it's done great in everything. The head up and down isn't as fast as the Super 70, but it's very minimal difference, and the back and forth is faster, and it brings you through logs a lot faster. So it's just a really nice deal. And also, you're not worried about your cat track, you're not worried about your hydraulics. Another major thing is being able to shift the log backwards and forwards on this. You know, with the turners right there below the logs, you can shift those logs back and forth, and it makes a big difference in the lumber. And so I really like that. Now on the Super 70, we would push our lumber back, and I don't know why, but on this one, it does not grab the bottom board 90% of the time. I cannot figure out. I think that the arms are actually too high on there. So, like I said, that's been an annoying thing as well. But being able to bring the lumber back to the guys, have, you know, everything, it's just a more automated mill. So if you're looking at, buying one of these going from a Super 70, you will have a ton of pro sides. I mean, like I said, the lumber for one, which is what your main thing is. You're trying to produce better lumber overall. And this will do it. I mean, it produces much better lumber than a Super 70 does. Now see, I can raise those front arms, as you can see there. But the back ones, or the ones that push the lumber off, you can't. So if it grabs something, it's going to bring it down this end regardless. I need to clean that window off where I had that other sticky on there. Let me get that cleaned off. I think I got it cleaned off enough for you guys to see better. I really like how it knows when I turn the log over. I mean, it automatically knows how to do it. And if you've got yours set up right, like if I cut in manual mode for the first cut, then on my next cut, I can set it, and then I never have to switch between automatic mode or anything like that. It'll just automatically switch for me. And so everything is a lot less button pushing as long as you set it up right. And there's a ton of things you can change in there. But like on the Super 70, you would hit, pattern mode or auto up and down, things like that. But you swapped it between every one. Well, this HMI knows whenever you turn the log, I guess by the hydraulics. You can see this is an old dried out log, and it just, the lumber is just as flat and smooth. And we've been running this blade. That's another thing, you're going to be able to run your blades a lot longer. We've been doing 2 hours, so a lot of people say they're doing more than 2 hours. I'm going to try 2 hours on these, sharpen them, and then see what the break rate is compared to doing it, longer. And, I won't know that until we cycle through them. If you guys are running a 4500, how long are you running your blades? There's not a lot of content on these on the internet. When I was trying to set mine up, I feel like I'm the only one that's put any content out on a 4500. All the rest of them are just, I don't know. There's just not a lot on there. But, like I said, you've got a lot more. You got 3 toe boards on your side, which can catch longer, bigger logs. You got the dual log turner, which you have to keep those extremely tight, because one of the things I noticed is if your chain ain't tight on one and it is on the other one, and you go to turn it, it'll kick one end all the way around. There's a little piece on the front of that. I'm afraid it's going to knock my blade off, so I had to watch it. I'm just letting HMI cut. So it's slowing down and speeding up for itself. And now when I flip it, it'll automatically go in stack mode, which would be like pattern on your Super 70. So I don't have to hit any buttons, and it goes off the last reference, which is most time a little bit high, but I just click it. And I noticed that on this one, when you click it to go down or up, it's faster than the Super 70. If you like click it multiple times, it doesn't get confused. Also, another thing you guys would love, see that right there? That drives me insane. But another thing you guys will love on your Super, or on this, if you decide to get one of these versus, you know, or if you upgrade. So on a Super 70, if you cut a board and you cut the wrong, you know, let's say you make a cut and you've got it on 2 inches, and you want to sorry, I was watching him, couldn't think. So on your Super 70, let's say you make a cut and you've got it set on 2 inches, and you forget and you go back and you hit down, and you really wanted to swap what you was going down to before you went back and you forgot, you would have to go into auto up mode and go up 2 inches and then hit auto down mode and go down to 1 1/8 or whatever you was going to cut. Well, on this one, it knows where the head's at all times, so you just hit bump up or bump down, and it will automatically bump back up and back down without having to swap anything. So that is a really nice feature on there, and it took me a minute to get used to it, but I really like that. Still working out the muscle memory. And I don't saw all the time, guys. I've got another guy that saws for me most of the time. So the muscle memory is very hard to get out if you're not doing it all day, every day.